Foreverlies. It's Maddie and Ryder, and this is my labor and delivery story. So I was gonna initially get ready and look nice for this video, maybe shower, but I don't want to ever depict a false sense or false image of postpartum on my channel. So I decided just to make this a little bit more real, I'm gonna be straight out of bed and I'm not going to exert the extra energy to get ready. Partially just because I don't feel like it, also because I feel like it makes it more realistic, because I mean, I just had a baby less than 3 weeks ago. Tomorrow this man will be 3 weeks old, and honestly, not wearing mascara, not wearing makeup, not getting ready. I am wearing my husband's giant shorts right now. Nothing fits, and I want to be real. So this is me right now. I didn't even brush my teeth this morning. We're just surviving right now, sleeping as much as I can. It's 11 o'clock right now, and I'm just now getting out of bed and doing the stuff I need to do for the day. But I just randomly decided that I want to film this video. I was gonna wait and actually get ready, but here we are. My entire pregnancy, he was measuring big. He was measuring about a week ahead the entire time, and I was on track to have a 9-pound baby by 40 weeks if the measurements were correct, and he kept growing at the same rate. So I thought I was gonna go into labor early, especially since it's my second. My mom had super spontaneous, crazy labors, so I was really thinking that I was going to go into labor naturally this time. If you've ever seen my labor and delivery story with Everly, you would know that I was induced, and I wasn't even dilating by 3 days before my due date. So it was like a medically necessary induction at that point, because I was so young. So I really didn't want to go the induction round this time. I wanted to give birth naturally with epidural, but I didn't want to be induced, is basically what I was trying to say. So I was really hoping that I'd go into labor naturally, but I was also scared that if I did make it to the 40-week point, that he would be too big for me to push out. And I know women's bodies are amazing, but I have read horror stories about babies being too big to push out. And I'm not really a smaller frame, but I'm small. I'm only 5'2". So I was pretty scared about that possibility. So when it got to 37 weeks and didn't really have any symptoms, I asked if I could get a membrane sweep at 38 weeks. So I got a membrane sweep, which is supposed to help labor go along. Didn't work, didn't even have any contractions. Fast forward to 39 weeks, I had another membrane sweep. Also didn't work, but I was 5 centimeters dilated at this point. So it would have been a quick and easy induction. I went ahead and scheduled a tentative induction at 37 weeks, just in case he didn't come naturally. But I really didn't think I was gonna make it to that day. But I ended up making it to my induction day and no baby. And I was 5 centimeters dilated at that point. So I ended up going in for the induction. I felt that that was what was right for me. It took a lot of contemplating, a lot of talking to my husband, a lot of talking to my mom. But I did decide that induction was the route that I wanted to take. So I went into my induction at 5 a.m. I only slept for 3 hours the night before. I actually woke up at 4:30 a.m. because I couldn't sleep. Or no, I woke up at 3 a.m. because I couldn't sleep. We weren't even supposed to wake up till 4 to start getting ready. Everly was at my mom's house, so it was just me and my husband, Randy. And I woke up at 3 a.m. and I had breakfast. I had a bowl of frosted mini wheats. And we got on the road to go to the hospital. So me and Randy love to go to the gas station and get gas station snacks. So on our way to the hospital, we got some gas station snacks for our hospital stay. If you don't know this, I have severe anxiety. My entire life, I have struggled with anxiety and panic attacks. And a big thing for me is needles. Don't love needles. And throw up. Also don't love throw up. Those are two of the things that I really struggle with my anxiety. So I get to the hospital and they're placing my IV, and I'm already really scared at this point. And I start getting really nauseous as they bring out all the needle stuff. So I got one of the little plastic throw up bags, and as soon as they stick in the IV, they stuck it in. I think the reason that it made me freak out so much is because it was like in my wrist, like right there. That's where they placed it. And immediately I started throwing up as soon as they started placing the IV because I was just so scared. And the vein blew. They had to dig around in there, and the vein blew. And I was just sitting there throwing up. And then they tried to place it on this hand, and the vein blew again. I also threw up the entire time. They finally decided to just place it in the back of my hand, and the vein did not blow. Third time's a charm. But I also threw up that time. So each time they tried to place the IV, I threw up. I think that was like the worst part of the labor and delivery experience for me personally. So my family ends up getting there. My mom and my little sister came. My mom took Everly to school and then came straight to the hospital because our induction time was 5 a.m. Once my mom got there, they started the Pitocin, and the contractions honestly weren't that bad. I didn't have any pain medication or anything. I kept having to go pee though. They gave so much fluids to prepare me for the epidural that I was literally up like every 5 minutes having to pee, having to drag around my IV, drag around all the cords. But the contractions weren't really that bad at all. They didn't even really get painful for me. I got my epidural soon enough to where they weren't painful. So whenever they broke my water with Everly, I had already had my epidural and I didn't feel it because my legs were numb. But whenever they broke my water with Ryder, I felt everything, and it was so much fluid. It freaked me out so bad. It literally felt like gallons and gallons of water just coming out of me. And every time I would move, it would be like huge gushes. It was really freaky. And I think I had extra amniotic fluid or something because my stomach shrunk so much, like a crazy amount once they broke my water. But this is the scary part. This was like the scariest part of my labor. He used like a little finger thing to break my water. It actually got him on his head. He has a few scratches from it touching his head whenever they broke my water. He has like 3 just circular scratches, which I looked it up, it happens, but basically they have monitors on the entire time, like on my stomach. And they lost his heart rate whenever they broke my water. It started dropping and then they lost it completely. I don't know if his heart stopped beating or if he moved and his heart rate was also dropping. I didn't really ask for the exact details, but everyone just started coming around me, freaking out. They were calling on the phone. It was really, really scary. My immediate thought was I'm about to be rushed into an emergency C-section. Like that's what I thought was going to happen. And that was one of my worst fears. So I was really, really scared. I was also kind of freaking out at that point, but I just immediately had to calm myself down because if I'm freaking out, that's gonna freak him out. So I really, really tried to calm down and just kind of see what was going on. But they ended up turning me to my side and they found his heart rate and he was okay. But they ended up turning off the Pitocin completely after that just so he could get a little break. And that was terrifying. Like, I just remember talking to Randy, my husband, and we were both crying and we didn't know what was about to happen. We didn't know if he was okay. We just knew they lost his heart rate for a minute. But he ended up being fine. It was just like some freak thing when they broke my water. I guess it just freaked him out. So thank God, but that was terrifying. I requested the epidural right after they broke my water because I knew contractions were going to get intense once my water was broken. The anesthesiologist came in and I kind of told her like, hey, whenever they did the IV, I threw up, so might throw up. It's just letting you know. So she talked to me for a while. She was the sweetest lady. I didn't have the best experience with the anesthesiologist giving birth to Everly. He said, oops, wrong way, and told me I could be paralyzed. So wasn't that great, but this lady was so sweet. She said, oh, you have such a beautiful smile. I can tell why your husband fell in love with you. And it just made me so happy. She was so sweet. My mom told me the entire time during labor, I was just smiling the entire time. And that's one of my coping mechanisms. Whenever I'm freaked out, like extremely freaked out, I'll just smile and pretend everything's okay to try to make everything okay. And honestly, it worked because it was a really good experience. But after I got my epidural, I wasn't as numb as I was with Everly, so I was kind of scared that I was going to feel the entire labor and delivery and actually giving birth. I was scared that I was gonna feel that, but I didn't. I started getting really nauseous though, again, and I started throwing up again, and my blood pressure started dropping. This is a common side effect of epidurals. So my blood pressure started dropping and I started feeling sick, but they changed my position to my side and it got better. But what sucks about that is they couldn't increase the strength of the epidural, so I was still feeling a lot of the contractions. Finally, my blood pressure went back to normal. They gave me some medication, and they were able to increase my epidural. And then I just kind of laid there for a while. I kicked everybody out of the room whenever they came in to break my water. Everybody got out and nobody came back in until I had actually given birth. We had a lot of family waiting, just like in the waiting area, which I'm so thankful for. I felt bad kicking them out, but I just needed a minute because I kept accidentally flashing everybody getting up to pee. So, I mean, I feel like it's understandable that I needed a minute to just like, you know, give birth. But basically, everything after I got the epidural was really calm. My stomach was really upset from not eating and throwing up my breakfast because it was the afternoon at this point and I still hadn't ate. So I was really hungry. I was really pissed off that I couldn't eat, and they didn't even let me have ice cubes for a while because I was nauseous, but I kept eating the ice cubes anyways. But basically, I laid down and rested for a while, and I started feeling like I had to push. And if you've never given birth before with an epidural, whenever you feel like you have to push, you don't really know. It kind of just feels like you have to poop. But I told the nurse, I said, hey, I'm ready to start pushing. And I was crowning. I pushed forever with Everly. Like, it was a very, very long actual delivery. She came out with a cone head. It took a while. But with Ryder, he came out in 12 minutes. 20 total minutes, but only 12 minutes of actually pushing. I think I only pushed through like 5 contractions and he was out. And they were able to put him immediately on my chest, and he cried when he came out, and he passed all his tests. Like, his APGAR score was like 8. Everly's was low when she was born, and they had to take her to the other side of the room. They didn't get to put her on me. It was really scary with Everly because I started hemorrhaging and she was like at the other side of the room. But with Ryder, it was completely different. He came out healthy and I didn't start hemorrhaging, so I actually got to experience those magical moments after giving birth, like them actually putting him on my chest. He latched on immediately to nurse, and it was really just such a beautiful experience. And it was a lot less scary than the last time. I wasn't a scared little girl anymore. I was a woman, and it was amazing. It was really beautiful, and I'm so thankful that I got to experience like a positive birth where I wasn't just kind of like scared my baby would die the entire time, because that's kind of how it was with Everly, honestly, because I heard so many warnings from my OB that like, hey, we need to induce you because there's an increased rate that the baby could die, and I've read like lots of scary things online. But Ryder cried immediately, and it was just such a beautiful feeling to have him placed immediately on me. And I felt really powerful during the birth. Like, it was really great. Like, I finally get why women say like birth is like beautiful, because it was beautiful. He was 7 pounds 14 ounces and 20.5 inches. He is now 3 weeks old. He is beautiful and sleepy. But yeah, that's my labor and delivery story. It's still some scary parts, but overall a lot less scary than last time. I think being an adult this time helped a lot with that. Yeah, we got a healthy baby boy, and I am so thankful. And Everly is such a good big sister. She got to meet him right after he was born, and she got to hold him and kiss him, and it's just so sweet. I can't wait for y'all to see more of their little relationship because he loves just watching her talk, and it's just so amazing. I'm so glad I could give her a sibling and have a baby with my best friend. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to our channel, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.